Cool. Well, welcome everyone to another episode of Burn the Ship. Have another exciting guest with us today. Ramon, my new friend. Going to let you kind of introduce yourself, introduce everything that you guys are up to. So this is an exciting opportunity for me to make a better kind of introduction with you as well. I invited you on the podcast a while back. It was an opportunity for me to share with you the podcast and got some cool feedback that you kind of liked what we're doing here. Hopefully this podcast is continuing to be valuable to you guys. Let us know down in the comments, what we can do to make this more valuable for you guys, as well as continuing to share the podcast with other business associates of yours. As always with Burn the Ship podcast, our goal is to connect entrepreneurs with professionals that can help them go all in their business. I think we have a great resource for us here today. And I'm really excited about having the conversation. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, introduce your company, tell us what you do, and a little bit about what you guys are headed towards.
All right, my name is Ramon Colon. I'm the owner of Safra's Property Services, and we do home inspections and mall assessments.
Cool. And you guys are located where?
We're located in Broward, which is a county in Florida, very close to Fort Lauderdale. That's where everybody recognizes in Broward.
Sure. So how did you get into the property inspection space? What is kind of your background?
Actually, my background is in mechanical engineering.
Oh, cool.
I got into this business purely by accident. I had a rough week, and the weekend before, somebody else was suggesting somebody else, not even me, to become a home inspector, and I just went for it. And it turns out that I love it.
Sure. So what were you doing before the home inspection? Do you have any type of construction or renovation experience that kind of led you to, transition well over to the property property inspection space?
Yes, so my first engineering job was actually I don't know if you're familiar with the Miami tunnel. It's a tunnel that goes underwater.
I am.
Well, I was the plant engineer in that project.
Wow.
Yeah, I fell in love with construction. It was very fast, very, very stressful, but just to see everything going from the foundation up, it was amazing.
Sure. What do you like more about the type of work that you're doing now versus what you're doing when you were working for that big type of municipality as an engineer?
I think the biggest thing I like is that, first of all, it's not one big project. It's a lot of small projects, so every day is different. I have to find out what the problem and report the problem the same day, as opposed to when I was working in a beer company. The problem was a 2.5-year problem.
Sure.
And the people I interact with, every day I'm interacting with different people, different clients, different realtors. So for the type of personality I have, it's better for me to interact with new people.
Sure.
I'm very social, rather than to go and be working with the same people day in, day out.
So have you gotten more into that networking and sales space more with this company? Like, do you do a lot of outreach, meeting other business owners, meeting other homeowners, connecting with HOAs, things like that?
Yeah, I am very active with my BNI chapter.
Oh, cool. I love BNI.
And also with, I'm sorry?
I love BNI.
Oh yeah. It's been really good. And I actually had a visitor day today, so it was pretty cool.
Cool.
And I'm also very involved with the Chamber of Commerce of my city.
Cool. Well,
aside from that, anytime somebody says there's a networking event, more than likely I'll be there.
Sure. Yeah, I'm the same way. Our company was kind of built on that local networking scene. How did things kind of change with you guys during the pandemic? Less face-to-face for sure, so.
Well, it was less face-to-face, and one of the things that I learned is to not be reactive. So one of the things that happened when the whole pandemic happened was that it wasn't the same. So I started saying yes to every single project. So we end up being in projects that were 2 hours away from my area, 3 hours away, 4 hours away, and it was a good problem because we had work, but I was being reactive. There was no plan to it, and now we still have to go back there because now we get referred from previous clients up there.
Sure.
So it's an interesting problem to figure out.
Sure. What kind of impact has like your relationship to the Hispanic community had down there? Do you find that when you network well with other people like within the Hispanic community that it works really well for your business?
Not really.
Oh wow.
The reason why is because most of the people down here are Hispanic. So
Sure.
I guess if I wasn't Hispanic, then I would see a huge difference.
Sure.
I would see a huge limitation.
Sure.
But in my case, I would say more than 50% within my own city When you go down to Miami, I would say 90% Hispanic.
Sure.
So maybe because I'm Hispanic, I don't see a difference. But if I didn't speak Spanish, I would definitely see the value in it.
Sure. Well, you raise a good point there, where it's like you want to take advantage kind of people that have something in common with you, but you guys are basically down there in an area where there isn't, like, everyone down there is pretty much the same place. Like, your whole network, everyone that you're selling to is kind of that, within that network. So it's pretty
Yeah.
unique. Atlanta
Yeah.
has a lot of that. Atlanta has a lot of people that want to try to focus in and kind of niche down. So I think it's really, really cool that you kind of acknowledge how your market's kind of the same. You have a wide market as far as geography goes, but you're getting a lot of the same work. It allows you to create that process and really create something that works for your business. So that's good.
Yes, sir.
Sure. So tell me a little bit about, as you're starting this company, what was that experience like? Was it harder than you thought, easier than you thought? What were you excited about? What were you surprised about?
Oh, it was definitely full of surprises. I remember when I told my dad is also an engineer. When I told my dad I was going to start the business, he sent me a picture of a little stick figure jumping from one cliff to the next. And then, like, within months, I say, hey, that is not accurate. This is like you free falling down,
Right.
and like when you see the floor just keep going down. And it's because as engineer, as a worker, you just become really good in one thing. I used to be really good as a quality engineering, as a construction engineer. But then when you start your own business, you have to become really good as an inspector. You have to become really good at marketing and networking, at payroll, sorry, accounting. So there's so many new things. I do love that. So maybe having a business is not for people that doesn't like acquiring new skills. But definitely at the beginning was full of surprises because it's not just about becoming good at what you
Sure.
do for the
Exactly.
product. It's also good. It's becoming good at everything pretty much.
So what were you best at when you started, and what were like your biggest growing pains?
I think I was definitely best at becoming inspector because when I opened this business, I thought that was it. The only thing you needed to do was become a great inspector, and the work will come to you. But obviously, I learned that no, that I have to become great at marketing. I have to become great at networking. And the biggest change that we had this year was actually thanks to the pandemic. My wife joined the company. She was always co-owner with me, but now she's working full time with the company, and she's amazing. If you look at our social media, I mean, she has taken the company to a whole different level. But at the beginning, it was only me. I do remember that was the biggest growth for me because it was the most uncomfortable at the beginning. Now I'm extremely comfortable.
Sure. What does your team look like?
Well, so right now it's me and my wife, but we're looking to bring in another inspector this year because it's in a
Growing.
good way. It's getting crazy.
Sure. Sure. Well, that's exciting. So that kind of presents another thing that you have to look forward to, is now you get to get into that hiring season, have to learn how to find good people and keep good people.
Oh yeah, they are definitely. You never stop growing. You never stop gaining skills because as the company grows, it's like a kid. You think you understand your kid, but then he learns something new, and then you have to adapt to it. So the same thing with the business. You get it to a comfortable place, and then you have to decide: do I want to plateau here, or do I want to learn a new skill, which will be completely uncomfortable? In this case, for us now, is hiring people,
Sure.
training people. Uh, we can choose not to do it, but then we stay here. But in our case, we don't want to stay here, so we have to
Right.
go over that uncomfortable stage.
Right. And then when you're talking about kind of transferring those skills and experiences to your kid as well, I think that's like a perfect example. Maybe not specifically to the people that you're going to hire, but especially with the people within your network. How is it that you have helped some of the people you've been networking with, or people that have started businesses since you start? How do you help those people kind of realize what's going into starting a business, or develop some of those skills of their own?
Well, actually, when I started this business, there was a very bad reputation for inspectors. Uh, Everybody would say, "Oh, they don't know what they're doing. They're deal breakers." Everything you heard with respect to inspectors was very negative. So I partnered with these other two inspectors, Raymond Ward and James Gonte, and we started something called Inspector Brotherhood. And the purpose of it was that it was to help at a technical level, but it turns out it evolved into helping technical and business in order to get the new people kind of like fast forward to the lessons learned.
Sure.
And it turns out it was very beneficial for everybody because what ended up happening was that, yeah, we were helping our quote unquote competitors. I was helping other inspectors, brand new inspectors to get business, brand new inspectors to do the inspection well. But what ended up happening was pretty cool. The people that we helped would end up calling us for the bigger jobs, the complicated jobs, or the intimidating jobs. So for the mall assessing, for Raymond and James, they start calling them for more. So even though we didn't plan to get help by us helping the new people, again, we know how stressful it is to be new in the market.
Sure.
So by us helping them kind of like run through the first steps, it benefited us as well.
What was life like for that first, year of really getting your business started? Like, what were the big differences?
Oh man, it was very very interesting because I went from getting a paycheck from a beer company, and the only thing I had to worry about was show up and get my tax done, my tax TASK done.
Mm-hmm.
To now I'm full in control of the outcome of everything. So if I decide to be lazy one day and not wake up to that BNI at 7 in the morning versus waking up at 7 in the morning and meeting two more people that would refer me to other people. That was very interesting for me because again, before the only thing I had to worry about was waking up, showing up, doing my work, go back home and enjoy my life. Now it's kind of like a juggling, and every day you learn to juggle a little better, better, because you don't wake up and go to sleep. It's always there. The business is always it's like a kid again. You always have to be taking care of your kid, even when you're sleeping. If you hear something in the middle of the night, you wake up and you check on the kids. Same thing. If in the middle of the night you hear the phone ringing, you have to make that decision whether or not you want to answer.
How did what type of impact did BNI have on your business?
Well, for me, BNI has been more of a personal benefit than financial.
Yeah. The resources that they give about how to build a referral network and grow your business, like just learning that information in general, it's hard to quantify the value of that to people because, like, for myself, joining a BNI group, being around a bunch of strong networkers for a period of time, it really helped me up my networking game and like understand the value of like how to give this presentation to other business people that were judging on me based on like the acumen of how I'm going to treat their clients. It was the exact same thing for me, and probably is for a huge portion of people that join BNI. Is more of like, you get a lot of that Toastmasters type of vibe from those early BNI groups because they're teaching you how to do so many things that you don't know how to do so well.
No, yeah, I agree. There has always been a financial benefit, but for me, the personal has been greater because, first of all, you have to meet once a week. So for me, it's every Tuesday at lunch. Every Tuesday at lunch is like a wake up call. It's like, whoa, I haven't been going at my 100%. The weekend hit me, and I've been cruising through Monday. So the fact that I have to meet once a week, that you have to present your business, that you have to pretty much grow with this group, it keeps you on your feet all the time.
For sure.
Aside from that, the constant conversation that you have with other professions. I do network a lot within my industry. I mean, I know pretty much every inspector in my county. But when you have conversation with people who have nothing to do with your industry, that's when the interesting projects start emerging. About a month ago, I had a conversation with a property damage attorney, and he just blew my mind with a question. And it was amazing because now we're heading in that direction. And the numbers for next year, the projections for next year are going to quadruple just because of one conversation, just because of one-to-one.
Sure.
So those constant conversations are constantly making you push farther, become a stronger businessman, a stronger person.
Sure. What do you see for the kind of next growth steps for your company? Do you want to be, the biggest inspection company in Broward County? Do you want to franchise and go all over the country? What is like the end game for you guys?
Well, that one, if you have asked me on my first year, the answer would have been clear. I want to be the home inspector that the whole entire state of Florida knows. But since my wife came to the business, she has brought a different perspective. And now, more than taking over the entire state of Florida, I want to be able to replicate what I did for myself.
Right.
I do believe I became a very strong inspector, very technical inspector. I want to replicate that in our inspectors. I want to make sure that whenever we send inspector to a house, is gonna be the same or better experience than if I'm doing the inspection myself.
Sure.
So right now we have downsized our vision a little bit. We have made it more specific on the quality of the inspection that we provide and the number of inspections that we provide. Because right now, as one inspector, I have maximized how many inspections I can do within a week.
Sure. Well, it's franchising is definitely a good option. There's some of those franchises out there that are probably some of your competitors, especially
Yep.
even in the home inspection space. That could work. I have a couple of friends there. Whenever you're kind of curious about this, I'm sure you have some connections through BNI as well. These were connections that BNI actually created for me. One of them is a franchise consultant that isn't like your find the franchise that fits you and buy this franchise and go into business. They're like find small businesses like yourself that are 1 or 2 or 5 locations and help them go with that national franchising model. I also have another friend of mine that is in the wellness space, and what she's done actually, so she's like a neurofeedback therapy expert. She's very, very strong networker in herself. So she owned a big region of a competitor of BNI. And so she grew her network was really, really robust. And now what she's done is take other wellness professionals that have like a specific type of licensing and train those people how to do the specific type of wellness therapy that she provides. And so like the return on like the cost is so low once you buy the equipment to perform the procedure that you're like 900% profit at the end when the actual check is paid, once your equipment is paid off. So she's actually taken the approach of seeking those professionals out, then bringing them onto her team, letting them completely represent their own brand, and then them signing like a contract with her for consultation over like the first year. So she probably charges, say she's doing for easy math, let's say she's talking to 2 people a week. There's 8 weeks in a month. Let's call it 8 clients a year, and each of those clients are charging, are paying her somewhere between $5,000 and $20,000 to have her on their shelf if they need anyone or any referral to any business service or any question about any type of where to get this equipment or should I add this to my repertoire. She's just been in that industry so long that she's now kind of found a way to contractualize her expertise. So the more you refine your process and really oversimplify while also making the solution feel really extravagant to what you do, it gives you the ability to take not only the home inspection, the ability to inspect someone's house, but the acumen that you have about your industry and your knowledge and your product and your process, and be able to replicate that for other people. It's a huge money making opportunity for people that have lived and kind of walked the walk in those different industries.
All right, now I have to go back to the drawing board and expand my current vision.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. I mean, if you got like I've literally had some clients and connections of mine do this. They're paying, somewhere south of $100,000. I don't think it's ever cost anyone $100,000 to really set up the franchising and licensing agreements. And then you have a franchise that's paying you $5,000 to $10,000 a year, depending on their volume and depending on what the deal it is that you give them. And you help them out with the marketing, you help them out with their branding, things like that. So, I mean, what do you have, 10, 12, 15 locations before you're extremely profitable, So it does work like that. Like Win Home Inspections is one that they think they've got 150 franchises coast to coast. And they send you to training for 2 weeks and then they send you back and you send them money forever, So I don't think they've got any type of sweet deal. You could definitely ruffle some feathers in that industry for sure. I'd be interested to see how that goes for you.
All right. You
Sure.
get an update.
Yeah, it's exciting. This is what we do though, like my company, my background is credit card processing. So I've been in the payment space for like 5 years. I've been helping small businesses like yours accept electronic payments and refine their business so that they are set up for success. Like there's no credit card processor in the world, and you can quote me on this, that is so good that your business will be successful because of who your credit card processor is. But there are a ton of credit card processors out there that are so bad that they can be a real reason that your business doesn't succeed. So like the podcast and the material that we put out here is really in hopes to connect you with more business owners so that we can show you kind of the value that we bring. The same way with payments, the same way with any other service that we may or may not ever provide for anyone, is like, how valuable is it to the people that are around you? And I think that your knowledge about your industry is very valuable, so just food for thought. You can probably definitely make something happen with that at some point whenever you decide what that is.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, sure. It's good food for thought. So I'm glad we've been, kind of been able to have this conversation. What do you do, outside of work? I know starting a business over those first couple of years is very, very time consuming and taxing, but seems like you've got a couple of kids running around back there. What does everyday life look like for you, my friend?
Well, for me, essentially it's either Safras or my family.
Oh, wow.
So one of the things that the pandemic showed me is that that Safras, for me at the beginning, Safras was going to be the legacy that I leave behind for my kids. But after the pandemic, actually, even before the pandemic, I did a few decisions that put my family first. And it was very interesting because at one point I actually closed down Safras and I was just a consultant to other inspectors.
Sure.
Whenever another inspector would get stuck, they would call me, send me videos, pictures, and then I'll get them unstuck. But I decided to do that because I got so consumed with building Safras that at one point my son was telling me, Papi, I want to work. And he thought that working was playing. So
Sure.
even the language of my son got affected by how much hours I was putting.
Sure.
So when we reopened Safras and when we started building this again, one of the things that I have, one of our priorities is to spend time with my family.
Sure.
So there's an hour that the office door gets closed and we do not touch Safras until the following morning. And that's the time for me to watch TV with the kids or play Legos or just talk.
Sure.
And some things that we do now is that we book a vacation, whether it's small or big. But whenever we do that vacation, that same night, the last night, we book the next one.
Wow.
Because all the things that was happening before was that I would get, again, so consumed with Safras that we'll say, oh yeah, we'll go in September. And the September happened and like, oh, crap, we didn't make a reservation. We cannot go. We cannot go anywhere. Let's go to a park, to a local park. This year, no. That stop. If we're gonna grind and hustle and work and build and help others, the one thing that cannot get sacrificed is my family.
Sure.
And this year, we proved that we can do it.
Good.
Which is very exciting.
That's exciting, my friend. Congratulations. How old are your kids?
My son is 6 and my daughter is 3.
Cool. Yeah, my son is about to turn 5. So.
Oh man, now is when things start getting better.
Yeah, it's fun. We started our first year of soccer this year. A lot of cool stuff. There's some big, like we started school, so he's been in school for a month, maybe a little over a month. A lot of big landmarks we've hit this year. So.
No, yeah, definitely. I learned. For me, they were always the most important thing. But I have to be honest with myself. I failed to show them. One thing is what's in your head, and another thing is what comes out of your mouth, and where you put your time. I think this has to do a lot with being a business owner. We know that the hours that we put in our business is usually for the family.
Sure.
But they don't perceive it like that. They're kids.
Right.
And even my wife, I mean, the needs that my wife have is not to bring in $100K by the end of the year. The needs is that we have a life. So it was interesting to actually change everything, to put the family first, then Safras, and see that we can carry through, and we made more money than we did in previous years.
Sure. Well, that's exciting, my friend. I really am excited to have made your introduction and see kind of where you guys go from here, because I think we share a lot of the same ideals. Our company comes from a very similar place. We're bootstrapped and doing everything that we can to continue to kind of provide our competitive advantage in our space. And you guys are doing the same thing. So I hope to be able to come down there, see you guys, see your operation, bring some value to you guys. Hopefully I can visit your BNI group. You can come visit ours in Atlanta as well if you want. Hope maybe you have some connections here that are valuable for you down there. So all kinds of good stuff going on. How do we find you? How do we get in contact with you if we have anyone in our network that wants to send you a referral, do some business with you, something like that?
Well, the easiest way to get in touch with me is my phone number. If I don't answer, I will text you. I'm very reachable.
Right.
Plus, I'm a millennial. We text everything. But my phone number is 954 328 1419. Or you can reach to us via Instagram or email.
Cool. So the last thing that kind of the same way we always close the show is that I want you to tell us and burn the ship to us is kind of an allusion to, jumping in all in on your business, focusing all on your business. What did that decision to burn the ship, focus all on your business and create your own thing, kind of what does that mean to you? And what would you say to those people, kind of within our audience that are thinking about doing that same thing? You have those people that are tradespeople that are in a corporate position that want to acquire or start their own position. What do you think, those people want to hear that are really leveraging the idea of starting their own business that are in similar shoes like you were?
Well, in my case, I burned my chip twice. So I got two different lessons learned, and I was lucky enough to be smart enough to apply the lessons on the first burn
Right.
to the second one. The first time I burned my chip was when I let go my job as an engineer. It was actually a very interesting situation because my boss was taking me out for breakfast to celebrate the accomplishment that I did for the company. And in the breakfast, he comes and tells me, "Hey, I'm very proud of what you were able to do. I didn't thought we were gonna make it this fast. I would like to make you general manager, but the company's not doing so good, so I have to pay you less than what I'm paying you right now."
Oh, wow. More responsibility for less money. Love that.
Yeah, I was like, this doesn't add up. I mean, and I was happy with him, and he was happy with me. So I said, you know what? I just gotta try my own thing. I think right now is the best time for us to cut ways and go our own ways. And it was one of the best decisions I made because after that project, I realized how capable I am to do stuff that I had never done before.
Sure.
So I started Safras, and then, like I told you before, I got so consumed with Safras that I noticed I was letting go of my family. So I burned down the ship again in order to rescue my family, essentially. And I did it. I was able to rescue my family. I was lucky enough that my wife was the one who told me, "Hey, we should reopen Safras again, but this time together." Now, the most important lesson that I got out of this is the business is just a vehicle. You get to choose whether you're the captain or you are part of the crew. I'm lucky enough to be the captain now. However, never sacrifice the port for the sake of the ship.
Sure.
I mean, for those that know me, they know I will make it happen for anybody. If they need an inspection at 7 a.m., when I'm having inspection at 8, I will figure it out. However, for me right now, it's important that ship, Safras, always get back to the port, to my family.
For sure.
As long as I can make that happen every single night, I'm successful.
I love that, man. You're all over it. I mean, I think that we share, like I said, I think we've got a lot in common. Our mindset, our place in business is really, really exciting to me. I hope that you guys do well. This has been Burn the Ship podcast. And like I said, our goal is to connect entrepreneurs or professionals that can help you go in on their business. I don't think that there's another message other than, hey, as long as you're taking care of what you need to at home, you're keeping your family first. It's difficult to fail. You're stepping out on your own. You're getting away from some of those responsibilities of your corporate position, and you're still keeping the things that are the highest priority to you the priority. Hey, man, I think you're headed in the right place. And it's been a pleasure to kind of make your introduction. And this has been Burn the Ship. If you got anything else that you want to leave our audience with, go ahead. But that's all I got, my friend.
I think the only thing I will have to say to the people deciding to burn the ship is never doubt yourself. I mean, the one thing I have proven over and over is that it doesn't really matter how hard it is. All you have to do is keep going. As long as you're doing action in the correct direction, it's gonna get done.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Well, thank you for coming on, my friend. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you.